I felt very rejected in my faith to the point where I started to face a lot of temptation to just leave the church. Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm an artist. Being an artist, you have to do things sometimes a particular way. I absolutely have a tendency to want to be a perfectionist. In the fall of 2017, I had applied for a Christian organization, a missionary position for a Christian organization that I had felt like God was calling me into. When I had received my answer back from the organization, I experienced an amount of rejection that I was not prepared to face. For some reason, that no felt like it wrecked my identity and who I was as a daughter of Christ, and I felt very rejected in my faith to the point where I started to face a lot of temptation to just leave the church. I felt I wasn't capable enough to share my faith, then why was I putting in the effort? That desire to live in mission didn't go away. And all the things that I had wanted to do after college were just gone. All my hopes were kind of gone, and I just felt very paralyzed by rejection. I didn't want to apply myself for art. I knew that God had given me that talent, and I knew I wanted to follow His will very deeply, but I couldn't bear being rejected from something that I knew was the last thing I was kind of holding on to. He made it very clear that He would answer the desire to live on mission and be a missionary through becoming a manager at a coffee bar that I had worked at. That little fear of rejection turned into a spiral of me realizing that I was a perfectionist and a people pleaser. And so little mistakes began to happen, and I began to be critical of who I was and my capabilities, and the urge to just dive further into work and being a perfectionist and pleasing everybody so I wouldn't be rejected only grew. All these insecurities about work, that I wasn't good enough, this rejection started to build. And it was a moment where I knew that there was a cross that I couldn't bear on my own. And I needed somebody to be there with me. I started to go to therapy, and I remember facing the reality of what it was in front of me. I had to work with my therapist in a very humbling way. I had to admit it to myself that rejection is part of life, that work wasn't your life. And slowly, by recognizing who I was, I began to realize that God gives grace through therapy to be able to see how to freely love and how to freely follow His will. I began to feel like life was so much bigger than meeting everyone's expectations, which led me to begin to face those fears and anxieties of putting myself out there again, specifically with art. It's a reminder for myself when I do prints that maybe I made a mistake. It's okay, because I might be the only one that knows that mistake, and it actually might turn into something very beautiful to someone else to see.
Listening to Kim's story, I was reminded of a quote from St. Augustine. "In my deepest wound, I saw your glory, and it dazzled me." Now, certainly Kim was wounded, and that wound actually touched on her image of God. But in the end, through the grace of God, what she was able to see was that wound was able to lead her closer to God. And in that way, our wounds can dazzle us, because our wounds can point us to Jesus Christ.